Hey, welcome to the next episode of Veterans Rant, Rattle and Roll. I'm Sergeant First Class David Parker, retired. And I'm glad you're here. Hey, we're going to wrap it up today. That's right. We're going to wrap up the book Forgotten Truckers, the one written right there, out of that journal plus other journals. Because we have gone since March 19th, 2003, at Fort Drum, New York, and we've moved all the way through Fort Bliss, Texas, and Kuwait, and all the way up through Iraq into Mosul. We've been forgotten as truckers. We've been running together. We got left in the desert alone, and we had quite the entertaining adventure. And now we find ourselves in Mosul, and I actually get to see the truckers quite often because they're in the same area as I am, all up in Mosul, because 2nd Brigade of the 101st grabbed onto those guys, held them tight, and took care of them. Last time we talked, we were up to Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, and I was just talking about how things are starting to get mundane. So I decided I'm going to jump ahead because it literally is radio watch, sleep, radio watch, patrol, go to town, do this, battalion headquarters, do that, BSA, do that, hang out with my friend, pay call, BSA patrol, so on and so forth. All right? There's not a whole lot going on. But May 15th, through June 1st, things start to change. I just want to go through it. So I want to read a entry here from May 15th. Another payday. The SSB came out to give soldiers a casual pay if they like one. I like it when they come from the BSA. They always bring my friend. Or maybe she always finds a way to come. I decided not to take an advance due to the fact that the pay sergeant says that I have no pay due on the system. Have to look into this, right? I have written on these journals about the mosquitoes here are really hateful. I think that they could bite right through ballistic plates. Went to try to use the phone today, and our time got cut short by some sergeant major from some unit wearing some patch I'd never seen. I waited for 2 hours to get that phone call to have him make us all hang up because his unit's never had a chance to use the phone jack. Like we're all sitting around with phones, right? End of entry. I remember this guy. He stormed into this building. We've all been waiting for hours to use the phone. Kicked everybody out. Some patch I ain't never seen in my life because we've all had our chance on the phone. Okay, so you're taking care of your soldiers by screwing other soldiers. Imagine that, right? All right, May 16th. Wrote 8 more letters today. Another interpreter got fired today. This time this was for being a thief. When I first started writing this, I was thinking about taking some good notes. I made it PG rated and did many demons, and didn't want to put them down. From what I have seen, things aren't going to get any better. Oh, and surprise, no mail for me, right? So things are really just sort of hanging out. I'm hanging out with the Fisters a lot. May 18th, they got really sick. Got a case of the Iraqi trots. Ended up having to have IVs. Right, really smoked my bags. And then we jump into Chapter 8. Now what? Not allowed to get bored. May 19th, I go to finance to see what's going on. Got to the division headquarters. This place will be my nemesis. They're staying in buildings with air conditioning and soda machines. Talk about spoiled rotten. Got some great news today. I made the cutoff for Staff Sergeant. E6, I'll be getting promoted on 1 June. I've been back in the Army for 9 months, already getting promoted. I also got terrible news. The Army claims that I owe them $7,500 or more from when I was in the Army the first 8 years, from 1984 to 1993. The commander filled out the paperwork to start an inquiry to find out exactly what's going on. It's not like I need money right now. So the division headquarters was just a shock about how well they were living. They really were. If I hadn't been single at the time, to find out that I hadn't been paid in 3 months, well, March and April, now May, would have caused a lot of problems. Of course, if I'd have been single, I probably wouldn't have volunteered for this mission and ran off the way I did. So they go all the way back, and this takes a long time. This really took a long time to get to the bottom of this no pay due. So I'm going to tell you what happened once we get to the end of the book here today and what ended up happening. But let me tell you what. It took 2 years to really get to the end of this problem, but it took a good 6 months of no pay due to get to the back of it. All right, so May 20th, Radio watch, like I said, radio watch, the camp is evolving. Now there's 25 chickens, a sheep, 2 horses. What's next? I swear if somebody calls me radar from MASH, I'll punch them. Started running again today, following the fence up to 30 minutes. May 21st, got a ride with a couple of the truckers, the Forgotten Truckers, the brigade headquarters. They surprised me and told me I was going home. I thought, yeah, whatever. But they were very convincing with the chain of command of the battalion, and Bravo Company said, no, I'm not. I'm needed. Just have to wait and see who wins the battle. No more word on whether I'm going home today or not. The ex and I went to the BSA for another meeting. I told my friend what was going on. She was not pleased. Next entry, May 22nd. Typical day, a radio watch and resupply, run to the BSA and hand out mail. I actually got a letter today from the States. Typical day, firefights from 2030 to 2200. One of our boys got shot in the right arm. That makes 2 from Bravo Company. RPG slammed into the side of our company headquarters today, rocked the whole building, knocked down the map board, rounds all over the place, ricocheting across the compound. Our wounded man will be okay, and we took 12 POWs. They're all flex cuffed, blindfolded, and then the Connex out back. We had our own little jail cell, if you will. May 22nd, whole lot more. Radio watch. The battalion sergeant major came by today, wanting us to calm it down. But I'm telling you what, the people were starting to be assholes. We're just walking down the street, pulling with Charles. They said drive-by, take shots at us. End of entry. Look, by May 22nd, Mosul, Iraq, 2003, somehow the people had changed. They'd gone from welcoming when we got there just a few days earlier, 20 days earlier, to straight hate. Straight hate. Shows you what propaganda can do. Can really twist your head. May 23rd. Today is 2 months since I left Fort Drum, New York, and yes, I'm still getting told I'm going home by everyone that comes here from other units and headquarters. But my chain of command says no. And the CM likes to talk to me and tell me that I'm not going anywhere. I don't remember asking to leave. I got 2 letters from my mother today. She wrote her Congress wanting to know where I was in Iraq. I was driving everybody all over the country. Mother, it's been quite a quiet day. I was driving everybody around the country, Mom. That's what I wrote. Nobody got into anything all day. It's almost mind-boringly numb. See? So some days there was nothing going on. Other days there was a lot going on. And it just, you did what you did. May 24th, I had nothing to say. For nothing happened. How you like that? May 25th, 5 hours of radio watch. Wrote 6 more letters. Did some laundry. I was told today that I'm the only replacement staying here. I received word from 2 NCOs from 214 that came with me from Fort Drum. They will stayed back, and now they're at home. And 3 more are leaving on the 27th, so I guess I will get lost in the system and stay here until the 101st goes back. Okay. And then who knows what seems, that seems a little screwy. I've been told that the unit at Fort Bliss who shipped us here can't go home until we all come back and reprocess through the system. I wonder what will happen when they have all cleared all the personnel and what will happen to my gear. Guess I will just call it even. They messed me over coming here, and now they're going to get me coming back too. Enough whining. I'll find a way to get past all this and continue with the mission. Still find it interesting that I'm in combat not getting paid. Okay, it is what it is, right? So, again, I'm going to tell you more at the end. So we're going to talk about the results of what happened to my pay at the end of this, and we're going to talk about my gear because it's sort of funny. Okay, so May 26th, they want to know when I got my first CIB. That was with Bravo 3rd to 502nd in Desert Shield and Storm. Now the era has changed, so I got myself a star on my CIB, which is really cool. And I was also told that I was being put in for a medal, and I've been ordered to go back to Fort Drum, New York. Looks like I'm going home just a little over 2 months, and I'll be going back and join the unit that goes to Afghanistan, which is what I expected to do. I expected to go to Afghanistan. Okay, May 27th, I'm going to read you the entry. Wow, the fangs of the wolf, nickname, were sharp today. I jumped 2 feet deep in a private's backside. I guess it was not so hard. I guess it was so hard that the first sergeant came to check out things. I heard the commander say, just as I walked back into the CP, nothing like a good butt chewing from a good NCO to start the day off. The battalion commander dropped by the camp today to shake my hand and thank me for what I've done. He told me that he signed my award today and that I should have it no later than June 4th. He told me that I'll be going to the battalion headquarters around June 2nd. I should be back to Fort Drum from there. it will be difficult to leave the unit. Now, the 28th of May, 0430 stacked and packed, ready to go. 0100 First Sergeant came and said, it's confirmed, Wolf, you're out of here tomorrow. Morning, brother. It's bittersweet. So, a whole day goes by. 0630, Battalion Headquarters, chatting with the CSM. We talked about when I came back and took me off the truck. Battalion Commander pinned to my CW with a star. He told me that my bronze star was at the division headquarters, and he gave me a coin and a hug. I didn't realize that this guy was going to be one of the best company commanders and battalion commanders I would ever work for. 0930, I'm back at the... Now listen to this one. 0930, back at the palace of the division headquarters. Funny to see the 5-ton trucks that we drove. The actual truck that I drove was parked in the parking lot against the wall. I sat in it one last time. The drivers are all gone. I am the last. I've been waiting in the hallway for my orders from division headquarters and was told they were getting my award. Well, I got my orders, and I'm not getting an award. I actually heard someone in the office say, he's just a detail. We don't give bronze stars, let alone awards, to details. When a young captain came out and gave my orders to go home, he said, I said, who was the person talking about the details? He wouldn't say. I looked in the office to see many officers, to include the deputy division commander. I just shrugged my shoulders, shook my head, took my orders, and left. So somebody in the senior chain of command of the 101st gave me the finger. Right? 1530. Have arrived at the Rear Deer Airfield and Replacement Center in Baghdad. Flew here on a Chinook. My own platoon sergeant, Sergeant First Class R, is here. He looks tired. 3 other people from 10th Mountain are here. So now we're in Baghdad finally. We're back. We've done a full circle, right? We're living in these big, large GP tents. I didn't realize I was at the BIOP. I was going to learn that real fast. And everybody looked hammered. 1630. The last 10th Mountain trucker arrives. We played dominoes until we couldn't hold our eyes open. It's great to be back with those I was back with. May 29th. 0600, everybody's up, shaved, cleaned, and ready to go. Portable showers were nice. 9:45, everybody's in the Chinook, arrived at airfield in Baghdad. That's the BIOP. Waiting for a flight to Kuwait. Bird cancel flying tomorrow. 1700, another one of our battle buddies from 10th Mountain arrives. 5 out of the 6 of us are back together. Too many rumors to even write it down. Trying to wait and see what happens. May 30th, 0630, we're awake since 5. Anyway, loading Chinooks, we got bumped by 40 National Guard members. We got bumped by R&R. 1315, started a load of bird, got bumped. Have no problem with that whatsoever, wounded soldiers. So we got bumped again to get the casualties out. I agree 110%. May 31st, 4:30 wake up, 06 manifest, 715, no bird. No surprise. 10 o'clock, bird shows up, we get on it. In the air, flying to Kuwait, then on to the States, and then back to Fort Drum. Noon, landed in Kuwait. It's hotter than hell. No shit. Right? Now, I'm now sitting in a browned out hangar, covered in graffiti. Tells the 13 years of men going through here. I'm laying on the ground, leaning against my gear, reading a book, waiting for the next plane. Now check this out. 12:30. I look up. I see a gator coming towards the hangar. The man driving looks like my platoon sergeant from Fort Drum. They look so much alike they could be brothers. I went back to reading my book. I heard the gator stop. So I looked again. It is my SFC from Fort Drum. He comes up and shakes my hand, tells me they've been in Kuwait since April 10th. I went for a ride with them to see my platoon and everybody in the company. So good to see them all. I met the new company commander, and I want to stay with the company. And I said yes, because he asked me. You said they're going to Baghdad, and he said they're going to Baghdad the next 2 days. I got my gear and moved into the platoon tents. Called my mom, called both my sons and my daughter. It was good to hear their voices. I'm right back in the second platoon where I left months ago. All right, so let's stop before I go into June 1st. So I go through this. You're not doing this. You're doing that. You're going to fly. You're not going to fly. You get bumped. You don't get bumped. We finally get to Kuwait. I didn't get an award for anything that I did because I was considered just a detail. I don't know who it is that made that decision, but I basically got the finger from the 101st. Okay, so be it. Now I'm in Kuwait, and my company commander, who is such a mixture of weirdness The guy is actually of Jewish origin and called himself the accountability Nazi. This guy was so freaking weird. I had no idea what I was in for. That he walked up to me and goes, "Oh, you're Sergeant Parker," because they had to change of command while I was gone. And he grabs my weapon, looks at the serial number, and goes, "Yep, that's the one." And I'm like, "What the freak?" Right? So I'm an E5. Remember, it's May 31st. I'm an E5. They're having a leaders meeting about what's going to happen to go into Baghdad the next day or so, but I'm not invited. Wait, what? I'm not invited. So let's go to June 1st. I was promoted this morning to Staff Sergeant, E6. Reloading plane for Baghdad today. We're going to work with the Special Forces. Yes, this is my third time in Iraq. I am so stupid. I ate American food last night, and now I'm very sick. I got a case of the trot, something fierce. Better get over this one fast. 10 o'clock on the bird. I'm so sick. I was scared I wouldn't make it to the bird, but I did. Have to admit that the ride was hell. They don't exactly have bathrooms on Chinooks. Okay, stop. So I ate Subway, and it was not good to me. Tore me up. Just tore me up. Okay, 12:30. Back in Baghdad. I can see where I left from yesterday. We moved into a big palace. It has big dining rooms and cots and also AC. I'm still wasted, sick, slept a few hours. It was excellent to see the first sergeant again. I guess it's time to see what will happen here in Iraq. Been told I will stay with my unit now until the end of the deployment. All right, so that's where this ends. I do end up making some notes, right? Here's what it says. This is where the story ends for the Forgotten Truckers anyway. I would stay in Iraq until March of 2004. I would deploy a few times more. Back to Iraq 3 more times and once to Afghanistan. And a short deployment to Oman. Not to complain, I was the only one of the 10th Mountain Soldiers who received nothing for their assignment and service in Iraq that deployment. From my battalion either, because they felt the other unit should have gave me something. Trust me, the battalion commander I worked for, not a good guy in 10th Mountain. To make things worse for the 14 soldiers who went to Iraq as quote-unquote volunteers, I was one of 2 who stayed in the Army and made it a 20-year career that I'm aware of. One of the 14 soldiers committed suicide. Another one of the soldiers did horrible things and went to prison. I believe 4 of the NCOs got busted and lost their rank due to their actions. When they got back, I did spend time with a couple of the other soldiers. None of us were ever the same. So you may not have listened, or you may have listened to all 10 episodes, and you may not really see the impact of what we actually went through, what it did to people. I'm telling you, waking up from a nap and discovering that you are alone in the desert will freak you right on out. And that's all there is to it. I want to talk to you about the results of the pay. So I get back with my unit, Bravo Company 431, one of the greatest units I ever was with. Honored to be here with every one of those soldiers, even the ones that don't like me and I don't like them. And they do this research for a very long time as to why I was getting no pay due. I got no pay due in the desert for a long time. I know it was a minimum of 6 months. It may have been 8. It's okay. You're in combat, they sort of give you everything. So what I got told was real simple, that when I left the Army in September of 1993, so I was out for 9 years, that I guess somebody was missing some equipment, and they went to a drawer and pulled out a file, and I guess I should have bought a lottery ticket, and I was the file they pulled, and they slammed me for all the missing equipment in the supply room. And then somebody signed it, pushed it through. I guess they figured, you know what, he's out of the Army, who cares? Well, the Army cared. The funny thing is I was out for 9 years, and I never got hit with my taxes. But the first year I'm back, boy, they caught up with me. Now, here's the funny thing is, you can't hold me accountable for more than a month's pay. And they took several months' pay. And then something I can never prove happened, but I'm going to tell you what happened. But I can never prove it, and I've been told that they don't believe me. I got pulled in a room because CID was involved with this money of mine. CID was involved with what's going on. And I got told by a guy wearing a brown T-shirt and uniform, no name, no rank, that, hey, listen, the guy who signed your report of survey is now a general. And that's not going to change anything. You'll start getting paid, but let it go. Sounds like a conspiracy theory. But, hey, I just wanted it over with. So that's what happened. I even have a going to be full bird colonel who's selected a duty right now that remembers this very well. Him and I were just talking about it here in June of 2020 when I visited the Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. Now, I want to also tell you before I end this about my gear. Now, remember, I got this stupid, completely dumb packing list from 2nd Brigade, 10th Mountain. Just OD green blanket. And I took this gear to Fort Bliss. Remember, when I was at Fort Bliss, they wanted me to go to CIF and pull some other gear because they had another packing list. And then I wasn't able to take all my equipment with me, right? It was like, this is as far as you can do. So I'd leave it behind. Guess what happened to that? They kept it. I got charged for it. Now, before you get all mad, my commander wrote it off as a combat loss for me, so I didn't have to pay for it. But they literally kept my gear. That unit screwed me coming in and going out. At least they didn't hold back. They went for it the whole way, all right? So I miss the Forgotten Truckers. Someday if I decide to publish this book after I do some more editing and add some more notes, right, there's going to be some pictures in there. I have pictures of sitting on the trucks. We have pictures of the different patrols, pictures of Camp Zed, pictures of the places we went, pictures of the things we did just to try to give it just a little bit more realism. Does that make sense? But I want to tell you, I thank you for putting up with me for 10 episodes, 30-minute long episodes of Forgotten Truckers. I actually tried to publish the book one time with a local book publisher, and they said they weren't interested. And that's okay. For everybody who's been listening, I thank you very much, because this is about building connection. And I'd like you to come on here and tell your military story, please. Because it's all about building connection to stop 22, prevent 22, put an end to 22. Because if you're a veteran, as far as I'm concerned, you're a top-notch human being. Yeah, I salute you. I thank you for putting on the uniform. Reach out to me anytime, veteransrrr@gmail.com, because Gmail is just fine. Again, thank you for putting up with this. We took a 2.5-month trip. We went from Fort Drum to Fort Bliss, got screwed. Went from Fort Bliss to Kuwait, got screwed. Went from Kuwait all the way to Iraq to help. We drove the 101st into Baghdad. And all I got from them was one of these when I left. We drove them in. They wouldn't have taken Baghdad without our help. They would have had to road march. But you know what? We don't give awards to details. So guess what? Why do I keep saying that? Not because I want an award. Take your award and stuff it somewhere. Because if you got screwed in the Army, you have a reason to keep going. Look, so did I. And I still ended up getting promoted a couple of times. We all went through some crap. But that's why we need you to stick with us and stay connected. Stay here, stay alive. Do not give in. Do not give in to the war within. Got to end veteran suicide. Because every single one of us that served got told to stuff it by somebody. That's okay. I got the blue card now. I'm enjoying life. I loved my career. Listen, all the crap that happened to me in 2003 was worth it. Because 2004 was another adventure in 5, 6, and 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 till I retired in 2016. And I worked with some of the most amazing people in the world. I had the honor of being a squad leader just shortly after this in a platoon that the platoon sergeant was the NCO of the year for the United States Army, Sergeant First Class Andrew Bullock. And I learned a lot. I had the honor of being a PSD squad leader for, at that time, Colonel Pascaret, now General Pascaret. I had the honor of serving with some of the most amazing people. I've shook hands with some great people. Met Sergeant Major of the Army, 2 different ones. It's been a great adventure. And when the demons come, and trust me, they come, I remember that it's worth being here. That if I can't handle my stuff, and I do that and I leave, I'm handing it off to somebody else. Now, you served in the military. You know what it means to pick up your ruck and keep on going. You know what it means to take a knee, rub dirt on it, drink water, and pull security. Don't give in. Don't give in to the demons. Hey, come on, veterans, rant, run, and roll. Let's talk. For Forgotten Truckers, no matter what happened to your brothers, this Sergeant First Class retired. Too much hair. Gotta go, Parker. Bye-bye.